Though we are months away from it, the NFL draft is quickly approaching, and we here at One on One believe it is never too early to talk some football. I'm here with Ennis Warlick to discuss some of the biggest names that we'll be hearing quite a lot about in the upcoming months. So, Ennis, who is the best quarterback in this draft class?
Well, I want to start this off by saying that this is going to be a defensive-heavy draft.
Very.
Offensive players. There's some pretty big names in there, but not as much as in past years. I'm going to have to go with Dwayne Haskins here. Dwayne Haskins. He reminds me a little bit about Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen, just people that have absolute cannons, huge arm. There's a little bit of an issue there with mobility and whether he's going to be able to move around in the pocket, but he's a very good quarterback. Obviously had a great year at Ohio State. There's also a little bit of a knock that he doesn't have enough experience. Had only threw 40 passes before this past year, but he's a great quarterback. I think he's going to be the best player.
So where does that leave Kyler Murray in the mix? I know he's a very popular choice to surpass Haskins, but where do you think he fits in all this?
I think Kyler Murray's going to firmly take that position as the number 2 quarterback in this draft. He might get selected before him, and I think he has a better chance to play right away than Dwayne Haskins does. But I think Kyler Murray is going to be number 2 just based off the fact that he's an undersized quarterback, doesn't have as strong as an arm as Dwayne Haskins. Still a very good player, but I'm going to have to put Kyler Murray at number 2.
Definitely. So who do you say is the sleeper of this draft? Who should we not overlook?
So I'm going to have to go with DeAndre Baker, the cornerback from Georgia. Now, you can't really – a lot of people are going to look at that book and be like, you're picking a guy from Georgia as a sleeper. That doesn't really make sense at all. Obviously, they produce some great NFL talent, Todd Gurley, Nick Chubb, Roquan Smith, just to name a few. But I'm going to have to go with DeAndre Baker just because in almost every mock draft you're seeing right now, you're looking at cornerbacks, you're seeing Greedy Williams go number 1 or Byron Murphy going number 1. And DeAndre Baker is consistently being labeled as that number 2 corner in this draft. DeAndre Baker was absolutely a stud this year. He was better number-wise than both Greedy Williams and Byron Murphy this year. Can lock up a great receiver on another team, locked up DK Metcalf in that Ole Miss game. And he's just a great corner, a great man-to-man corner. Reminds me a little bit of Desmond King from the Chargers.
As you mentioned, it's a very defensive-heavy draft, and people can get lost in the shuffle. But we'll move on to an NFL team that needs this draft the most. Who is it?
Oh my Lord! It is my Oakland Raiders.
Oakland Raiders.
They have three first-round draft picks in the first round, and they need this draft. They need a prayer. They need anything. They need to use those 3 picks on a defensive player. They need a lot of holes filled, but they need to focus on that defensive ball.
All 3?
All 3. And I'll tell you why. Because just like I said, this is a defensive-heavy draft. They need to pick the best player available because they need help at every single position. And I think they really need this draft to get back on track.
You lose Khalil Mack, and then a couple of years ago, you're one of the favorites, not only as a playoff team to dethrone maybe the Patriots or somebody. You had Derek Carr, who was an MVP-level quarterback, but it's a shame to see how the Oakland Raiders have fallen so far from grace.
Right, and it's just like they need so many holes filled. They got rid of Khalil Mack. They also got rid of Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
And they need to fill that hole.
And who knows how much longer, Carr and Marshawn Lynch are going to get around. But hopefully it's a great year for them with 3 picks. See if they use it right.
Please don't pick another Colton Miller, please.
When we come back, Matt will sit down with Brad to discuss the issues with the MLB arbitration process.